It's Friday, everyone. What do we do on Fridays here at the Hint Hive? That's right, we smash the patriarchy. Hey there, powerful women of the world. Welcome to another episode of the Hint Hive, Amplifying Women's Voices. I'm your host, Kelly Hint, Queen Bee of this hive, here to guide you through the ups and downs of life with the fierce energy and wisdom only a community of empowered women can provide. Today, we're diving into a topic that's all too familiar in our fast-paced, high-pressured lives: stress management. Let's face it, ladies, the world can be a chaotic place. Between balancing careers, family, friendships, and personal goals, it is so easy to feel overwhelmed. But guess what? We're not just survivors, we are thrivers. And today we're going to tackle stress head on and come out stronger, more centered, and ready to conquer whatever comes our way. First off, let's break down what stress really is. Stress is your body's response to any demand or challenge. When we encounter stressors, our body releases hormones like adrenaline and cortisol. These hormones are part of our fight or flight response, designed to help us deal with immediate threats. But when we're constantly stressed, our bodies stay in high alert, which can lead to all kinds of health problems. And for those of you struggling with anxiety, your fight or flight response seems to be always on. It's like even the most minor stressor, like, I don't know, for me, just the other day, I think I dropped something and my anxiety wanted to react as if a tiger was chasing me. And that's when I recognized, I need to do a little bit better with the stress management, right? Now, understanding stress is the first step in managing it. So let's take a moment to reflect on the stressors in our lives. Just really take a second and think about this, and even pause if you have to. What is weighing you down? Is it work deadlines, family responsibilities, societal expectations? Write them down and let's acknowledge them together. Remember, identifying your stressors is not a sign of weakness. It's a badass move towards taking control. To give you some examples of some of the things that stress me out, currently, it is a lupus flare. I pushed myself too hard because I've had a lot of things happening in my personal life lately. If you've been listening to the podcast, you know that there was a death in the family, and there are all kinds of interesting stressors that popped up because of that. I've also, because I went into a lupus flare, I have not been able to work as often as I usually do, and so there are some financial stressors there. Let's see, what else? What other stressors have I got going on? I'm not even going to talk about the family relationships BS. So yeah, I've got some stress related to family relationships. And this one may seem a little ridiculous, but it is a stressor. My dogs are stressing me out. I have one, my pug, he's turning 9 years old and he's on prednisone and he's an a-hole. And I have a pit bull who is 8 years old, and my pug attacks the pit bull. So there's stress around feeding time, because when a pug attacks a pit bull will only take it for so long. So I have to intervene on that. And again, I know this seems kind of ridiculous, but it is honestly something that stresses me out a lot. So I need to add that to my list of stressors. And some of you may find this ridiculous, but actually, if you've been following the show and you're still listening, you're not going to find it ridiculous. Political stressors. I live in the United States. I welcome any apologies from any other countries because you know that right now, the United States is really struggling with heavy division among the citizens, government that is incredibly corrupt. And this is from all sides of government. I'm not advocating for a oh my gosh, I can't talk. See, this is what stress does. You can't even talk. Anyway, I'm not advocating or placing blame on one party over another. Both Republicans and Democrats are pissing me the hell off and pissing many people off with their inability to function appropriately. There's corruption on both sides. There are disgusting people on both sides. And so for myself and many other women, we are incredibly stressed about some of the decisions being made about our particular gender. So yeah, that's another stress. And the reason why I'm mentioning all of this is because sometimes we are not even aware of some of the things that are stressing us out, or we're not identifying them as stressors. Like I never would have ever identified like the government as a stressor when I was younger, probably because I didn't follow politics. But there are things that we don't even recognize that are causing stress on us. So that's why I shared some of mine as examples to help maybe jog your memory and really encourage you to take a second and reflect on what is happening in your life right now, both inside your home, outside of your home, inside your body, outside of your body. No matter where it is, really just identify those stressors. All right, now that we've got a grip on what stress is and what's causing it, let's talk strategies. That's what this is all about, right? So let's talk about some badass techniques to help you manage stress and keep it from running your life. And so help me, I will be able to hear your eyes roll as I mention this first one. Don't be rolling your eyes at me because this is important. Mindfulness and meditation. That is our very first technique. Take time each day just to breathe. I know it sounds cliche. I know it's obnoxious. I know, well, for me, when someone tells me to just take a breath, I want to punch them in the face. So I'm not telling you to just take a breath. I'm simply saying, take time each day to just breathe. Mindfulness meditation can help you stay present and reduce the constant noise in your head. Try apps like Headspace or Calm to get started. On my YouTube channel, I have tons of free resources. That's the other thing. This podcast is a free resource for you. So head over to my YouTube channel, Kelly Hint Empowerment Coaching. There are a list of various mindfulness exercises, meditations, guided imagery, progressive muscle relaxation. All of that is incredibly helpful for stress management. And again, I know it sounds cliche, but it is helpful. I promise you, because, and also the other thing I need to say about this is you need to practice. The very first time I tried progressive muscle relaxation, I'm like, this is stupid. It's so lame. Why does like clenching body parts and releasing them do anything? It's not helpful for me. But then I kept practicing because as a therapist, I believe in grasping and absorbing the techniques that I'm teaching other people. So even if they don't work for me, I'm going to practice at them so that I can skillfully instruct others. So that's what I did with progressive muscle relaxation. And before I knew it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this. It is absolutely amazing. Because for me, with my anxiety and my stress, I hold all of my stress in my neck and shoulders. And so doing some of the progressive muscle relaxation exercises releases that tension. It is amazing. It's like a little mini massage. Okay. Moving on, because clearly I could talk about that forever. Let's talk about exercise. Move your body. Whether it's a fierce kickboxing class to get all that anger and stress out and sweat your butt off, or a calming yoga session, or even a brisk walk in the park, physical activity helps burn off stress hormones and it boosts your mood. It has been scientifically proven that exercise has the equivalent of taking an antidepressant. So try it. If you're like me, certain types of exercise are so boring and I won't do it. So don't. Don't force yourself to do an exercise that you hate. For me, that is walking on a treadmill. I would rather bang my head on the treadmill than actually walk on it. I hate it so much. But I live in an area that has horrible winters. And so in the wintertime, I was trying to force myself to go down on the treadmill because I didn't have the option of going outside. And I hated it, so I stopped doing it and naturally gained lots of weight, got a little pissy, my stress was up, and so I decided to get creative about exercise. And now I blast some badass music, and when no one's home, of course, and I let my freak flag fly. It is fantastic. I literally dance around my house and sweat my ass off, and it is so much fun to me. I'm telling you, I hope that each of you listening can have a moment of privacy where you can do this. If any of you have seen the episode of Friends where Phoebe and Rachel go running in the park and Phoebe runs like a crazy person and Rachel's really embarrassed about it, but then she tries it and it's fun too. That's what I'm getting at here. Dancing like a crazy person for me was so much fun that I enjoy doing it as much as I can. Okay, now here's another one. I'm gonna hear your eyes roll. I know this. Setting healthy boundaries. That is another really good technique with stress management. Learn to say no. You do not have to take on everything. Prioritize your needs and set boundaries to protect your mental health and well-being. Saying no to others is saying yes to you. You've got to remember that. Healthy boundaries are such an important part of stress management. And another one of my favorites is connecting with others. Lean on your support network. Don't depend entirely on them, but lean on them for support. Talk to friends, family, or a therapist, or a coach. Sometimes just voicing your stress can lighten the load, and it's amazing. Recently, this past, I don't even know what the hell day it is. See, I'm telling you, I'm really stressed out. So for the 3rd of July, I went to a lake house with some friends, and my son and his wife were there, and all their friends were there, and it was just such a wonderful, wonderful time. I didn't do a whole lot other than sit in a chair and talk to people because, like I said, I'm going through a lupus flare, so my energy levels were down. But just being there and talking to people, seeing people that I hadn't seen for a year because I typically only see them at this particular gathering, it was so wonderful. And it relieved stress. It was like a little getaway. It was like a little vacation, and it was 15 minutes away from my house. So just connecting with other people really, really helped. And again, it was surprising for me because sometimes I'm so physically depleted that my social card is too full and I can't connect with others because I'm just so exhausted. But it was surprising and it was wonderful. So, again, try it even if you don't feel like it may be helpful because you may be surprised. And then the last quick tip that I have is self-care rituals. Indulge in activities that bring you joy and relaxation, whether it's a bubble bath, reading a good book, dancing to your favorite song, going for a walk in the woods. Just make time for you. Put it in your schedule if you have to. Set a reminder on your phone if you have to. Do it for 5 minutes if that's all that you've got. I don't care. Just try something. You need to engage in healthy self-care. And if you're having a hard time with that, if you're coming up with all the excuses in the world like I have a tendency to do, reach out to me. Reach out for some coaching, maybe. Maybe you need some short-term coaching to just kind of brush up on some self-care or some coping, whatever it is. I'm here for that. Or even take advantage of the free resources that I have. Go to my website, coachkellyhint.com. I have blog posts on this. I have a blog post on stress management. There's lots of information on my website about various mental health conditions and a lot of things that affect women. That can be a form of self-care. Knowledge is a form of self-care, increasing your knowledge on something. So prioritize yourself. It is so incredibly important. And so now let's bring some of these strategies to life with some real world applications. I'll share a few scenarios on how you can apply these stress busting techniques. So scenario 1, overwhelming workload. Oh my gosh, how many of you can relate to this? I don't know of people who can't relate to it, quite honestly. So imagine your boss just dumped a massive project on your desk. First, take a deep breath. That's it. Just take a deep breath and then break the project down into smaller, manageable tasks. Don't look at the whole project and get overwhelmed. It's like, oh my gosh, when I see a sink full of dishes, I just turn and walk away. It's too overwhelming. But if I look at it as, no, I'm going to take this cup and put it in the dishwasher. Now I'm going to take this plate and put it in the dishwasher. It helps because it's smaller and it's manageable. And then when you break that project down into smaller, manageable tasks, then you prioritize them. Set some realistic deadlines and don't be afraid to delegate if you have that option. Remember, you are in control of your workflow. Even if you work for someone else, you may not think it, but you are. And if you have a micromanager, well, that's going to be another episode. Okay, scenario 2, family drama. Ugh, my favorite, right? Family stress, it's a big one. Whether it's conflict with a partner, with kids, or extended family, it's crucial to communicate openly and set boundaries. Use mindfulness techniques to stay calm during heated moments and carve out time for self-care to recharge. And another piece of family drama is really utilizing healthy communication and conflict resolutions. And don't be afraid to tell the family member that you may be having conflict with, I'm sorry, but I need a beat. You need to give me a second. I need to reflect on this and process, and we can come back and talk about this later on when we're both less stressed out. Okay, scenario 3, societal pressures. Society loves to tell women how to live, how to look, and how to act. But you, my ladies, you are the author of your own story. Challenge societal norms by staying true to yourself. Do not let others dictate who you are. Surround yourself with positive influences and remember that your worth is not determined by others' expectations. Oh my gosh, I wish I could just highlight the hell out of this and really get that to sink in. Because I'm telling you, the societal pressures, are ridiculous. They always have been, they always will be, and so we need to safeguard ourselves from that nonsense. You be you. Do not let others tell you who you are. And again, if you're having a hard time with that, call me up. If you're in New York, maybe we do therapy together. If you're not in New York, we can do coaching together. Depending on your level of functioning, maybe you need a therapist. If you're outside of New York, go to psychologytoday.com. You can search for a therapist in your area, or even a Google search will do that for you. Now, let's just take a second to dive into 2 questions that I have had from our incredible listeners. These questions were sent in by women just like you, looking for ways to manage their stress. So the first question that I received permission to talk about is, I feel guilty taking time for myself when there's so much to do. How can I get over this? All right. I will say that guilt is a tough one that I've struggled with myself, and one that women all over the world struggle with. But self-care is not selfish. It is necessary. Think of it like charging your phone. You cannot operate at full capacity if you're drained. Schedule self-care like any other important task and remind yourself that taking care of you helps you to better take care of everything else. I often tell the women that I work with, both in my therapy practice and my coaching practice, when I hear women say, I feel guilty for taking time for me, there's so much to do, like, what do I do? I remind them, if you've ever flown on an airplane, the flight attendants will say, if you're traveling with a child or the elderly, and the air pressure drops and the masks drop down, secure your mask first before you put a mask on your child or your elderly person that you're traveling with. Why? Why do they say that? Well, because how the hell are we supposed to help anyone if we are passed out because we didn't put our mask on? And this is honestly something that I have to remind myself of all the time, because my job is to take care of others. And so I'm sure you can imagine the incredible amount of guilt if I have to say no to someone because I'm a natural caregiver. But if I don't engage in self-care, if I don't take care of myself, kind of like how I've had to do recently because of my lupus flare, how am I supposed to help others? How can I be there for you? How can I help you with your anxiety? How can I help you with your trauma if I haven't taken care of myself? So guess what? My guilt is gone. When I think of it that way, when I think of the fact that I am useless to another person if I have not taken care of myself, the guilt is gone. It's replaced with a different kind of guilt. It's replaced with the guilt of, oh crap, I should have taken care of myself because now I'm not going to be worth a crap to the people that I'm working with. So for that listener, remember that self-care is not selfish, and schedule it in your daily tasks. All right, the second question that I had, how can I manage stress when I can't change my situation? Oh, girl, I get you on this. I relate to this one so strongly. One to a situation that I cannot talk about, but yes, I'm there with you. Sometimes we can't change our circumstances, but we can change our response. Focus on what you can control, your reactions, your mindset, and your self-care. Practice gratitude and find small joys in everyday life to boost your resilience, and then make sure that you think through this circumstance, this situation that you can't or can't get through, that you can't change, and find where you can. There are things in your life that you are in control of, including how you respond, how you react to things. And I know it's hard to swallow that one, but if we can't change the situation, we have to change how we respond to it. And then eventually, you may be able to change the situation. And also, I would also encourage you to think about the thoughts around your situation, and maybe they're irrational. Maybe you can change the situation, but you feel like you can't. Maybe you feel trapped, but you are not thinking outside the box to get creative on how to get out of that situation. To really guide you on this one, I would need to know a little bit more about the situation. So, feel free to send me a message back. Maybe we can get a little bit more specific about that one. Okay, I want to thank the two ladies who sent in those questions. I absolutely love getting questions from listeners. I like getting feedback too, and comments, suggestions, all of it. But if I have the opportunity to address a question during the episode, I absolutely, absolutely love that. So keep them coming. Thank you so much for that. All right, ladies, stress is a part of life, but it does not have to define us. By understanding our stressors and employing powerful strategies, we can take control and lead lives filled with more joy, balance, and badassery. Remember, you have the power to navigate through stress with grace and strength. Keep being the incredible, empowered women that you are, and never forget that you are not alone in this journey. Okay, before I start wrapping up, I want to thank my new listeners as well as my loyal listeners. It looks like I've got some new listeners from Denver, Colorado, Berlin, Connecticut, Foley, Alabama, and I am not going to pronounce this place in Germany correctly. I think it's Heidelberg, Baden, Württemberg. I'm not sure. I don't know. Sorry about that if I totally massacred the place that you're living at. I'm trying. I would like to say that the top 3 countries that I've got listening to the podcast are the United States, Germany, and Italy. I am so incredibly excited about that. I don't know. I just feel so much more connected to ladies all around the world because of this wonderful technology that we have. And so anytime that I see that I've got listeners from other countries, I get so excited. Same thing when I see people from different states that I've never even been to. I get really excited about that. And so I am going to take this opportunity to ask you to please keep sharing this podcast, because the more you share, the more women hear this, the more women get the message of empowerment, and my creation of an empowered, badass army of women just continues and grows, and I absolutely love it. So please, please, please keep sharing. I love it. And I want to give a shout out too to some of the top cities that are downloading the podcast. We've got Geneseo, New York, Pafard, New York, Boynton Beach, Florida, Batavia, New York, Buffalo, New York, Fairport, and Rochester, New York, and Queens. We've got Branford, Connecticut, Clarksville, Tennessee, Seattle, Washington, Atlanta, Georgia, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Frankfurt am Main. That's a German one, and I can't pronounce Hesse. Is that right? Feel free to text me and tell me to stop butchering the pronunciation of the area that you live in. Bath, New York, Los Angeles, California, Parma, province of Parma, I believe that's in Italy, Sunny Isles Beach, Florida. And again, I think I've mentioned Round Lake, Illinois before, in Fordland, Missouri, Vancouver, British Columbia. Whenever I see all of these new cities popping up, I just get so excited. We've got Wellsville, New York, North Wilkesboro, North Carolina, Fort Worth, Texas, Berlin, Connecticut. Oh my gosh. I love this. Columbia, Missouri, Clarence, Missouri. Thank you. Waldorf, Maryland, Phoenix, Arizona, Fairfax, Virginia, Ashburn, Virginia, Lenexa, Kansas. Thank you. Thank you so, so much. Royal Oak, Michigan. I hadn't noticed that one before. I'm very humbled by the fact that I've got people listening from all over this world and the amount of people in this country. I know that you have so many choices when it comes to what you do with your free time. And the fact that you give me, around a half hour each week of your time, I am honored. I feel incredibly blessed. And I thank you so, so much for doing that. Because again, it makes me feel like there's hope. I'm given hope. Oh my gosh, listen to me. I'm getting a little emotional. Just thinking about spreading the word of women's empowerment. Oh my goodness. Yeah, thank you. Thank you to my listeners. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Hint Hive, Amplifying Women's Voices. If you found this episode helpful, please share it with your friends, leave a review, and join our community of fierce women. Link with me and other members of the Hive in our Facebook group. The link is in the episode description. Reach out to me. I absolutely, absolutely love connecting with all of you. So please feel free to become an active part of this hive. It is your hive also. I'm the ringleader of the shit show in all of it. So come join. All right, ladies, until next time, keep being your awesome, amazing selves. Keep shining, keep thriving, and keep amplifying your voice. Till next time, ladies, Queen Bee out. This podcast is powered by Kelly Hint Empowerment Coaching, as well as Kelly M. Hint LMHC and The Cranky Counselor. To find out more about coaching services, head over to CoachKellyHint.com. If you'd like to know more about the psychotherapy services I offer to individuals within the state of New York, you can check out KellyMHint.com. And if you'd like to learn more about aromatherapy, you can check out TheCrankyCounselor.com.